The majority of the men in this world are low-value men. They are not inherently bad, they just don't have any real ambition or drive to be better. It's important for men to have some level of self-respect, and if you feel like your time on earth is being wasted, then it might be time for you to change course. Many people don't really understand how they got into bad situations in life. They just wake up one day feeling like they are failures, and have no idea how they got there. The truth is, there are certain behaviors and mindsets that people adopt over time. These behaviors can be fixed if you're willing to put in the effort. You should know that one of the easiest ways to lose value is by continuing poor behavior patterns, or not doing anything about it when you feel like you've made a mistake. A man's character is defined by his reaction to adversity. You can keep making the same mistakes, or correct them and try for a better outcome. The low-value men usually don't improve themselves, because they are content with living just to get by. Instead of taking control over their lives, they go with the flow. Unfortunately, these guys will always be taken advantage of because they allow it to happen. Let's see 8 traits of a low-value man. 1. He is lazy or unmotivated. Being lazy is probably the most common trait of a low-value man. Lazy men usually don't try to improve themselves physically, financially, or intellectually. The laziest men complain about having to do things instead of taking action to make it happen. Their lack of motivation prevents them from doing anything that would positively benefit their lives. A low-value man usually spends most of his time on social media, playing video games, or watching TV. Instead of trying to improve their situation, they would rather do something that brings them temporary pleasure. They also lack the motivation to go after what they want in life. They never take chances and live a mundane life, because it's much safer than pursuing your dreams. There is nothing wrong with having fun, but only when you're still taking the necessary steps to improve yourself. 2. He has no purpose and plans for the future. Low-value men don't plan out their lives in the long term, they live day by day and let life happen to them. They don't take the time to sit down and think about where they want to be in 5 years or 10 years. They also fail at setting goals for themselves because they never plan on sticking with them. A man without any long-term plans is like a ship without a compass, he doesn't know which direction he's supposed to go. Without any guiding principles, he'll look for external factors to influence his decisions. This is why low-value men fail to be independent and have a real purpose in life. 3. He has low emotional intelligence. A low-value man usually doesn't understand his own emotions and those of the people around him. He lacks empathy and tries to suppress his emotions to be more manly. Men who lack emotional awareness often have problems in their relationships. They don't know how to communicate with others, and they get overly defensive when someone starts a conversation about them. Emotions affect everyone, especially men, so you should learn how to handle yours properly. A low-value man is unable to express himself and connect with other people, which makes them appear cold and heartless. They don't know how to deal with their problems, and they bottle them up until it gets too much for them to handle. 4. He is submissive. Submissiveness is one of the most common traits among low-value men. They let other people make decisions for them and follow every order without questioning it. Over time, this self-destructive behavior can lead to problems with depression, anxiety, addiction, and other mental disorders. People who lack self-respect usually end up feeling like a victim and start blaming other people for their problems. They allow other people to control and influence their lives, which can be seen as a lack of self-confidence. A low-value man would rather please others so they can feel like they belong to something. They don't say no because it makes them look bad in front of other people, even if what they are asked to do is unethical or harmful. They lack the confidence and assertiveness to tell others what they think. Instead of speaking their mind, they'd rather keep quiet and follow everyone's lead until someone tells them what to do. 5. He has a big ego, but low self-esteem. Low-value men usually have an inflated ego and think highly of themselves, but they suffer from low self-esteem and lack the confidence to back it up. They try to compensate their insecurities with materialistic things because it gives them a sense of worth and accomplishment. A man who has an overinflated ego thinks he's better than other people and can't accept any kind of criticism. He doesn't try to improve himself because he already feels that he knows everything there is to know about life. They see others who are more successful than them as a threat. They have a hard time becoming friends with those people because they think it might make them look weak in front of others. However, they don't realize that this is just a reflection of their own insecurities and self-doubt. 6. He's a player or a womanizer. A low-value man has the player mentality, and he thinks of women as conquests and objects. He would rarely date the same woman twice because this would mean having real feelings for her, but low-value men are incapable of loving anyone but themselves. He spends his time seducing other women instead of focusing on his own life goals. This way of thinking is tied to low self-esteem and a need for validation. When he gets rejected by other people, he can't handle it and starts blaming them for his problems. He thinks women only use him for sex and treats them as disposable objects, instead of actual human beings worthy of love and respect. 7. He has a weak male identity. A man who lacks confidence and self-respect doesn't value himself as a man. He would go out of his way to please other people just to feel accepted by them. A low-value man will always seek external validation because he's unable to rely on himself for support. He would constantly seek other people's approval and would do whatever they asked just to keep them around. He tries to make everyone like him, even if it means going against his own beliefs and values. A man with a weak male identity would never confront someone because he's afraid of being viewed as rude or insensitive by others. In the end, he always comes across as a pushover and a doormat. This type of man is also too passive, and he would never voice his opinion or fight for his rights. He's always trying not to offend others, and will do anything in order to avoid a confrontation. He also lacks self-respect, so he would go along with the crowd just so he wouldn't have to be different from everyone else. A low-value man is very insecure about who he is as a person because he doesn't value his individuality and uniqueness. 8. He feels entitled. A low-value man feels like he's entitled to everything and deserves better treatment than other people. He's selfish and self-centered because all his thoughts revolve around himself and what others could do for him. He lives in a narcissistic world where everything is about him, and other people are just background characters in the movie of his life. He would go out of his way to get what he wants, even if it means crossing ethical lines or hurting other people's feelings. He doesn't care about anyone but himself because he doesn't understand how taking responsibility for someone else's feelings might make him look like a better man. This type of man is only concerned with his own needs, and doesn't feel the need to be accountable for his actions.